Toastmasters, welcome guests. Hindenburg! Schulte! Gustav! Silly Goose. Yes, that's the right name. For this dog. For the dog that was probably going to be the last one I choose, I rehearsed everything, from the right name, to the right breed, to the right breeder. I listened to Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer, and he recommended that the most important thing, once I had determined I was getting a German Shepherd, that calm and assertive were the most important things before anything else when I wanted a pet dog. Didn't want a cranky one. With this information, I ascertained the correct breeder. I went to her and I said, calm and assertive, I want to order up a dog. I couldn't wait to do this, and I want, as Caesar Milan said, I want the pick of the litter this time instead of whatever was left over or what was given to me, although those were good little dogs. And I'd already chosen the name. He was going to be Gustav. The puppies were born. I went out and she said, well, here's a little problem. They all 9 of them look exactly the same. So at 4 weeks, I will do the test and I'll find out which one is the most calm and assertive male. Give you a call. So I did. Went out, she said, here he is. I think this is the perfect dog. This is what he looked like.
Aww.
Gustav von Hindenburg. Gustav von Hindenburg looked exactly like everybody else at the time. So she said, I suggested you bring a collar that's special so you'll be able to tell him when you come and get him in 2 weeks because he needed 2 more weeks with mommy. So I went and got this really cute little red collar covered with the little doggy bones. I think you've all seen them. It was just so adorable. So I brought it up to his little neck, and exactly 14 days later, she calls and she says, you need to come and get your dog, and you need to bring a bigger collar. I can't wait. I show up, and here's all the little puppies, and here is Monstro the whale. Collar's gone. Gustav is 3 times, not twice, he is 3 times bigger than everybody else, and he's stomping on him. He's just having a great time. She couldn't wait for me to put my collar around and get rid of my dog. So I take him to the vet thinking somehow she had mixed it up and I've gotten another puppy, but the vet said, Kyle, you have got an 8-week-old German Shepherd purebred that is the biggest son of a gun I have ever seen in my life at this age. And he had those soft puppy ears, like little velvet. And he also had the longest tail you'd ever seen in your life. And it had this crinkly, kinked curl going on. And he looked back at that tail at the same time we did, and he said, in his little puppy brain, he needed to find out what that was, so he began to spin. He was absolutely going to catch that thing because it was going to follow him for the rest of his life. And around he went. And I'll let you know, the rest of his life we did indeed watch him spin and spin and spin, and he never did catch that thing. Calm. Yes, he was. Assertive, not so sure. Right from the get-go, we understood that Gustav belonged to me, and I belonged to Gustav. Never once again in my life was I ever allowed to use the restroom by myself. From bathtub to toilet, Gustav was right there. Calm, yes he was. Slightly had issues with separation anxiety. I just determined that it was easier for me just to take him with because he liked to keep an eye on me at all times. So I discovered to my worrisome behavior that at 145 pounds, I probably had the biggest sissy in the world, I was likely going to have to be protecting him instead of the other way around. Easygoing, he loved everybody and he loved every animal. People who saw him went up, once they got over the terrifying horror of the fact he was so huge, and they could do things like dress him up. He loved to dress up. This is Gustav on Halloween as a pimp. One year he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. That was really too cute. But he preferred the pimp costume, very happy to pose. Kind of a sissy, but very calm, very assertive. We would go out for cocktails, he'd be my date. He did have a drinking problem. He did have a drinking problem. I always had to be the designated driver. Goose and I would go hiking. Once we ended up at Yosemite, and we're walking up to Bridal Veil Falls. And he loved to lay his belly in the water. So he's got his tummy in the river. And I'm straddling him, protecting him. People are walking past. And he'd been photographed everywhere we went because he's so friendly. It was like, there's no bears in Yosemite to pet, but Goose would be a good substitute for everybody's photo ops. So I'm standing over him when 3 Japanese boys, very tall, came up, a little too excited. Oh, Goose, Goose, Goose. They come up like this with their hands going crazy. Gustav snapped to. You've never seen anything. He up through my hips, knocked me over, stood there, lips curled, werewolf in London, terrifying. Gustav was going to lose his life to protect me. I had never seen anything like it in my life, that these boys should not have come up upon Mommy and surprised me. I never questioned his courage again. Gustav, when I moved to Monterey, he was my date. He was my buddy. He loved the ocean. He would sit there, run out as fast as he possibly could and jump in the waves. He'd body surf. He'd have a great time. He'd keep his eye on me and he'd run down to see somebody picnicking and he'd sit there very politely and wait and hope that he would get a sandwich maybe thrown his way. And then back in the ocean he would go again. I went to Paris. Mistake. Came back. Goose started to slim me down a little bit from that 145 pounds. I figured he was just having another mope, but the weight kept dropping. The vet decided he had something in his tummy, and we thought, well, since Gustav absolutely loved to eat my clothing when it was available, I'd wait in the yard and see if my sparkly new top showed up, and it did. Thought, well, all was well, but it wasn't. At which point, when his tail stopped wagging, I gave him that last ride, and I laid down next to him on the floor at the vet's, and I patted his velvety ears, and I sunk my face into his fur, and I smelled my buddy for the last time, and I had to say, goodbye, Goose. Goodbye, Gustav.
Thank you, Tony. No need to apologize. I found out last week. You don't have to apologize. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially Kyle. It's serendipitous that I am evaluating you today. I think Pep wanted me to do it. She has been a topic of many of my speeches, and a lot of you don't know, but I lost her in November. So she wanted me to be part of this today. And it was a great story. Kyle was telling a story from the Advanced Communication Manual, Storytelling, project number 4. And the objective of this project is to understand the techniques available to arouse emotion and to become skilled in arousing emotions while telling a story. And Kyle, you are a master. You drew us in with your brainstorming of names, and it was a very creative way to start telling your story. You were stellar at using techniques to arouse emotion. You were great with body language and vocal variety, and you are so casual and funny and animated, which really helps to tell a great story. You also used humor throughout your story, and it was a nice selection of descriptive words. I also think it was very effective to save tugging at our heartstrings until the very end. Some suggestions. There were a couple times that I noticed that instead of facing forward, you kind of faced sideways. And you did use the space well, but I think if you can stay forward, that would be good. The photos were great. I think they could have been a little more effective if it was on a screen as slides. And of course, the timing of the speech. But great story, and I really look forward to hearing more stories from you. And I feel like I got to know Goose. Thank you.